Thank you, Attorney Marife. Good afternoon, Justice. So, I have two sets of questions. One comes from the good senator. Isa lang naman tanong ni Senator Alan dito. So, what would be your position on the lifestyle check? So, as you know, it has been in the news recently. No? So, what is your take on that?
Kanina po binanggit, at salamat Ginoong Professor Pirme. Maganda pong tanong yan. Kanina binanggit niyo po yung tinatawag na prevention, as I have said. Now, ito pong mga SALN, ito pong mga lifestyle check, these are red flags to supervise that there is an ongoing wrong or some irregularities. Wala pong masama. Wala pong masama. Kung tayo ay mag-lifestyle check, kung nakikita natin ang pomposity ng isang tao, extravagance ng isang tao, kung he is a government official, under our ethical standard, we as government employees should live a modest life. Kung tayo ngayon nakarelo ng patek ano ba yun? Patek pilit ba yun? Or ano? Or nakakotse tayong Lamborghini. Siguro naman, there is some, hindi ko na masabi irregular, so there is some irregularity. And this will trigger the governance that there may be something wrong. So lifestyle, so long as it does not affect the privacy, respect naman yung privacy, may be done discreetly to see if there is something wrong and there is something to be done by the Ombudsman to prevent further the commission of graft corruption at hindi po siya gagayahin ng mga ibang tao. Kasi kung nakikita na, si ganito, pasensya na po, ayoko magbanggit ng profesyon, si ganito, bakit ganyan? Siya ay isang official lang ng custom na security officer, bakit mayroong ganito, ganyan? So at least may red flag tayo para hindi nagayahin ng iba. But as I have said, discreetly with all the necessary respect of due process, especially the respect to one's privacy.
Thank you, Justice. So this will be my set of questions. There are about 10 and I hope we can accommodate that.
Professor, sige lang po at handa po akong mag-recite. Kagabi po, nag-aaral po ako, Professor.
These are actually, Justice, a same set of questions to all applicants. So, just to be fair with everyone, since I've been asking
po, Professor, wala po problema, maski...
So, number one is, if appointed as the Ombudsman, Justice, what can the stakeholders expect from you? Just brief, no? Because I know you personally, Justice.
What can they
stakeholders
expect me from the stakeholder? Dalawa po ang masasabi ko. Competency and ethics. Competency, madali lang po. Competency, yan po yung natutunan natin sa eskwela. Competence. Ethics, yan po yung ating reputasyon, which we earned. We did not learn, but earned in the conduct of ourselves. Ethics, which is marami po kasing sanga-sanga na virtue ng ethics eh. But it all boils down to one thing, integrity. Integrity. Gusto niyo po bang
No. We can attest to that. Diba? There is no need to...
Meron lang akong gustong sabihin about integrity at saka ethics eh.
Yes. If you want to explain something about that.
If I may quote Professor Pirme, ang sinabi niya yan, the success the success of our justice system rest upon the robust standard of ethics. Ayan
That's
po.
in my book.
Yan nga po. Ay, gusto kong ipagyabang na nag-aral ako at baka mapag-recite ako ni Professor Pirme. At yung issue ng ethics can redound only to an issue of integrity. And from that integrity, sanga-sanga po na different canons of other SIPRA, gaya ng independence, propriety, fidelity, accountability, equality. Yan po. At bilang abogado, we are bound by the SIPRA. And if we enter the government service, Section 28 of Canon 2 regarding propriety under the SIPRA requires that we should abide also with SIPRA in addition to the requirement under 6713 regarding the conduct of a public official.
Sige. Since speaking of these two characters, justice, independence, and integrity. So first question, well, technically it's the second question is, was there an instance where your integrity was put to test? And how did you navigate through that?
Professor, sa palagay ko, lahat po ng tao, hindi po perpekto. May mga panahon na pinagdududahan tayo. In my career in the government service, mostly in the judiciary, meron po tayong motion for inhibition. And once there is a motion for inhibition, I took that as a red flag that somebody is questioning my integrity. And more often than not, I will answer that I am a person of integrity. Sasagutin ko yan kung bakit ako dapat ang magdesisyon. Ang pag-recuse or inhibition is the last resort. Yan po ang ginagawa ko. Pag motion for reconsideration ng issue, questioning my integrity, more often than not denied. Kasi I will stand with my decision because I know I decided the case with all the integrity required, independence, etc.
How about independence, Justice, you mentioned that. No? Was there an occasion where, or can you tell us an instance where you displayed your independence? Meaning to say there were persons who tried to influence you and yet you resisted.
Meron po. Tayo po naman, kung nasa poder, maari po yung litigants will not come to you directly. Hindi po. Sino ang pupuntahan nila? Yung mga taong malapit sa atin, kaibigan, kapatid, kamag-anak, yung bang hindi mo mapagsabihan ng hindi. That, of course, hindi naman po pwede na i-compromise natin ang ating desisyon. Kung mayroong mag-pressure sa akin, kamag-anak, kaibigan, and it is not among those people who under the law, a judge or an authority should disqualify themselves. Meron pa akong antidote dyan. Antidote. Pag yan ay kamag-anak or sino, sasabihin ko sa iyo, okay, tulungan natin. I will assure, dapat maging sincere po tayo sa sasabihin natin, I will assure them that they will get the justice they deserve. I will see to it that I will be independent in deciding this case. Kung hindi man ako magre-recuse, that is the antidote that I always said. I will be independent and I will see to it that they will get the justice they deserve. That word, justice they deserve, is too tired or too full. Double-edged yan. Justice they deserve. If they are not liable, fine. If they are liable, then they will get the kind of penalty that they deserve. But of course, I have the discretion to mitigate or aggravate the penalty. Yun po lang ang masasabi ko tungkol dyan.
Thank you, Justice, for that. At present, you are living a private life. And I think you've been doing that for the...
Sarap nga po eh. Ewan ko nga ba.
So are you ready? The question is, are you ready?
May mga tao bang gustong isabak ako sa labanan?
Okay na nga. That's the next question actually. Are you ready for another public life? You will have bodyguards with you, Justice. Are you ready for
matagal kong pinag-aralan yan. I ask my family. I ask my friends. My pros and cons po. Sayang naman daw po yung aking experiensya. Sayang naman po yung aking competence. Bakit hindi natin pasukin yung itong very, very sensitive position? Pamilya ko, they are divided. Yung anak kong abogado, sabi niya, we will defer to your judgment. Sabi niya. But if I were to ask, you are qualified to be an ombudsman. But we will support whatever your decision is. Meron naman isang sabi, huwag ka nang pumasok dyan, Justice Lopez. You have nothing more to prove. You have reached the peak of your career. Why risk another position that might affect your personal, whatever is that, personal history, etc., etc. But then, sabi ko nga kanina, meron tayong tinatawag na altruism. Alam mo yung altruistic, Professor, is innate in us, yung tumulong. Makakita po tayo ng nasa kalye na naghihirap. Minsan, madalas automatic gusto natin tumulong. To me, that is altruism, which is inherent upon us. More so, sabi ko rin kanina, if we were given a privilege, noblesse oblige, yan po ang sinabi ng isang French philosopher. Being a person with authority, being a person with privilege, you are also obliged to recompense that privilege that was given to you by the state. Noblesse oblige. Naniniwala po ako doon sa prinsipyo na yan.
Next question, Justice. Well, you've been in the Supreme Court. So how do you value public perception?
In terms of good governance, public perception is indispensable. Pakinggan po natin. Bakit? Kasi governance for the people, sila ang stakeholders. Bakit hindi naman po natin sila pakikinggan? At any rate, they are the end of what we are doing in governance. Pakinggan po natin sila. Paano natin malalaman ang kanilang problema kung di natin sila pakikinggan? But there is a matter that cannot be swayed by perception of the public. Yung mga decision-making that will entail the judgment of a certain right or person, dapat po maging objective na tayo dyan. Kasi ang perception is subjective. In deciding cases, we should be objective. The rule of law requires the foundation of evidence to see that the right thing is done, and this is proven in the court. Wala pa tayong magiging basihan in our judgment, kundi yung evidence. Lumayo ka sa ebidensya, magkakaroon tayo ng problema. Mawawala yung independence natin, kikilingan mo ang perception, which is subjective in character. Alam nyo, Professor, meron po akong isang experience sa Batangas na hindi ko po makakalimutan. Hindi ko po makakalimutan yan. Ang perception ng public, that person accused is guilty. Maraming bumubulong sa akin, Judge, yan po ang pumatay kay ganito. Judge, siya po. Pero nung nagbista na po, iba po ang lumabas. It has a doubt, circumstantial evidence. There is now a doubt whether that person is the one liable or the culprit. Against the perception of the people, ano po ang ginawa ko? Dahil nakita ko po ang ebidensya, kulang, there is a doubt. I have no alternative but to acquit, despite the perception of the people. Pero ito po nangyari, kaya hindi ko makalimutan. 3 days after that person was released, pinatay po siya. He was killed. And then, ayan, another perception. Sana hindi na lang inakwit ni Diyos. Sana baka buhay pa yung tao na yan. For a time, nagkaroon ako ng anxiety, but knowing the rule of law, knowing my objectivity, yung konsensya ko malinis. That is the foundation of judgment, the evidence. Sabi nga ng isang principle, contra factum non vale argumentum. Against the fact, there is no valid argument. Kung ito ang ebidensya, walang argumento na makakaiba doon sa kinaratnan ng ebidensya. Yan po ang isang experience ko sa Batangas. Barako po kasi ang mga Batanggenyo. Barako po yan. And if they will do, if you are doing your job, yan po, masasabi ko ng harap-harapan sa inyo, if you are doing your job in Batangas City, you are impartial, you will get the respect of the people. And I got that respect because I can straightly say I was doing my job in accordance with the law as well as my ethical standard.
Yeah. Well, Justice, no, I'm sure in relation to that incident in Batangas, you had public criticisms.
Of course.
How did you handle public criticisms?
Of course. Tayo po nasa gobyerno, meron nagkikriticize. Masakit man aminin. Yung nagagawa nating mabuti, hindi nakikita ng tao. Ang nakikita yung kamalian. Masakit, hindi ba? But I will not take that something that will affect my independence. I will take that criticism constructively. Tama ba itong perception ng mga taong ito? Baka naman talagang ako ay gumagawa ng mali. Baka naman dapat gawin ko ito, etc., etc. And that will serve as a gauge of my moral courage.
Okay. Justice, let us assume that you are now the new
ombudsman. Sabi ko na nga ba, magre-recite ako rito kay Professor.
Just a few questions. Just to be fair to all applicants.
Sige lang po, Professor. Handa pa akong mag-recite.
But these are good questions because
yes,
you
sir.
have the feeling of the new ombudsman. Let us assume it is already 2029 and you are the new ombudsman. Okay. So as we know, 2029, there's a new president, right? Kasi 2028 ang presidential election. So 2029, there's a new president. Diba?
Bakit?
Let us assume you are now the ombudsman.
Lumayo po tayo. Bakit 2029?
2029, you are now new ombudsman.
Sige po, Professor.
5 things in mind. And I want you to rank them based on the most significant as far as you are concerned. Number 1 being the most significant. Number 5, least significant. So these are the 5 things in my mind right now. Number 1 is the president not appointed you to this post.
Isulat
You have
ko nga
pen?
po.
Okay.
Isulat ko lang po para
Sige.
malinaw. President,
That appointed you to this post.
appointing power.
Yes.
Okay.
Number 2 is the new president. It's 2029.
New President.
Yes. Number 3 would be the public, including their perception, the public perception.
Or stakeholder siguro
Yes.
yan, Professor.
Yes, sir. Number 4, the safety of your family. As you know,
Safety of your
marami
family.
ka ng bodyguard by then, no? So that you will be receiving threats, kaya may bodyguard. Number 5,
Number 5,
your personal goal.
personal
Goal. Yung iyong mission of becoming the next ombudsman.
Unang-una po, I will be truthful and honest. Tayo po ay may kanya-kanyang ambisyon. Tayo po ay may kanya-kanyang kagustuhan kung anong gusto nating mangyari kinabukasan natin. In short, itong personal goal ang aking unang tatahakin. Ito po ang dahilan kaya ako po ay nasa harapan ninyo. I have a personal choice to serve the government. I was not compelled by anybody to come here. It is my judgment, my decision to apply for this position with an intent to pursue my vision and mission in becoming an ombudsman. Number 1. I will be very frank also that I will take the safety of my family in achieving the goal that I have, mission and vision. Bakit po? Ako po ay nagtatrabaho, nagpapakahirap for my family. Ang pamilya po natin is part of our life. Mawala ang pamilya mo para mo na rin pinatay ang sarili mo. Gusto ba natin mangyari yon? Yung purpose safety? Kasi mawalan ka ng kapatid, mawalan ka ng nanay, etc. Baka yung personal goal mo hindi mo na ma-achieve. What for? What for? What for is your life? Is if you have no one, a loved one to share with. Meron tayong kanya-kanya. Now, of course, the third one, doon na tayo sa stakeholder because this ombudsman is the defender of the people. This ombudsman is something, a position sensitive for the country. And the president appointed you not for his benefit, but for the purpose of the country, this stakeholder. So you must be true with that objective of the president to serve the people. Bakit sa presidente? Hindi po personal. Naniniwala po ako na ang presidente ay nag-a-appoint ng ombudsman for the people and not for his own aggrandizement or for his own interest. After all, if he will appoint a wrong ombudsman, magre-reflect yan sa kanyang governance, magre-reflect yan sa kanyang personality. Kaya ang president, whether the president who appointed you, new president, it does not matter anymore because you as ombudsman must exercise the independence free from any pressure, including the person who appointed you.
Thank you for that.
After all, ito pa nga, bakit after all, yung pati president? Kasi po naman, kaya nga kayo pinili, dahil naniniwala ang presidente sa inyong integridad. Ang presidente po, naniniwala ako, na hindi yan mag-a-appoint ng person who is not qualified. Kasi nga, sabi ko, magre-reflect yan sa gobyerno, sa kanyang governance, kung sino man yung kanyang i-appoint.
Yes, thank you for a well-explained reasoning.
Pwede na po bang pumasa sa recitation?
Pwede na. If I can give you 200, di ba? Salamat po. Next question. I'm sure there will be lot of public officials who would be instrumental in your appointment as the next ombudsman. So would you have the nerve, the guts to file cases against these public officials?
Public official who will support,
Who would be instrumental
in
getting disposed?
assuming I will get deposed.
Let us assume.
Let us assume. Alam mo, Professor, natatakot po akong sagutin yan. It might preempt my appointment. Dito tayo, nagpapakahirap ninyo akong interviewin. And then I will say, I will prosecute them. Ay mape-prejudice yung aking appointment. Kawawa naman ako. But I will answer that anyway. Siyempre may utang na loob tayo sa mga ganong tao. Aminin natin, sa kultura natin, yung utang na loob hindi naaalis. But yung utang na loob, madaling sabihin din na minsan may narinig ako, personal relationship ends when my duty begins. Daling sabihin. Pero gawin natin, napakahirap. But then, being a person with ethical character, ethics, integrity, meron tayong talagang there is an end to such relationship, to such, even if it involves the appointing power. As to whether I can prosecute them in the remote event, ayan kasi talaga naman as much as possible, hindi nga natin may utang na loob. But in the remote event, there are two things that I will do. If I cannot inhibit myself because under the law, pwede po naman mag-recuse, mag-inhibit. But hindi po tayo ganun na tumatakbo sa labanan eh. If there is a ground to inhibit up to fourth civil degree, and there is or a personal relationship that you cannot exercise your independence, then wala na tayong magagawa but mag-inhibit. If we cannot inhibit ourselves, this is what I will tell to my supporter. Pasensyahan na po tayo. But, ito na yung sinasabi kong antidote kanina. But, do not worry. I will assure you that you will get the kind of justice you deserve. We should be sincere in saying that. And in saying so, we must do that promise to any person, not necessarily the people who will support you. And with that kind of antidote, with that kind of answer, palagay ko, even those people who supported you will respect that answer or decision.
Thank you, Justice. Last question. No? You are now the ombudsman. I always make you feel that you are. So what significant event in your life would make you decide to quit this post?
Madali po yung sagutin. Hindi na po ako magdadalawang isip. Kanina po, tinanong niyo sa akin, what are the character or qualification that you have? I said, number 1, competence. Number 2, integrity. If I am no longer competent, wala na po. What's the use of staying in that office if I am no longer competent? And secondly, my ethics, my integrity is already destroyed. Wala na tayong integridad upang magsilbi bilang alangan namang ipagsiksikan ko pa ang sarili ko kung hindi na ako pinapaniwalaan ng tao. I am no longer credible. I am destroying myself. Yung tinawag ko kaninang personal goal will be self-destruction. If I will insist to stay in that capacity where I am no longer have the necessary indispensable qualification.
Thank you, Justice. That will be my last question. And thank you for answering the questions. Interviews tend to humanize all applicants.
Salamat po.
Thank you, Attorney Firme.
Alam ko naman, Prof, na you are one of the professors whom I idolize pagdating din sa ethical standard. Kasi nagturo pa rin ako. Gusto ko rin sanang gumawa rin ng libro ng ethics, kaya lang wala po tayong oras.
Tsaka wala nang bibili ng libro ko.
Hindi po. Magbibili po ang libro ninyo dahil mas magaling kayo pagdating din sa ethics. No, but modesty aside, I like what you stated, which I quote before, that the success of justice system rests upon the robust ethical standard. And ito po, I quote din, kasi naging professor po ako. Naging professor po ako ng 30 mahigit na taon. More than I have devoted my life to teaching, practically. 44 years po ako sa gobyerno, sa teaching po, almost 40 years. And if I may, I have more than 100,000 students already by now. And nakita ko po yung inyong philosophy that ethics should be taught to lawyers. And it is in their formative years that they should learn their ethical standard. And that formidable years is when they are still students. Kasi while they are still student, wala pang sungay yan. Pwede mo pang diktahan, pagsabihan, bulyawan mo, matatakot. Kung hindi na yung estudyante, abogado, matigas na ulo, bulyawan mo, wala na siyang pakialam. And we agree that in that formidable years, dapat matutunan ng ethics. Kaya, magyayabang naman po ako ng konti. Hindi naman po ako Batanggenyo, bakit ka mayabang? Kaya po, nung ako po ay chairperson ng bar exam, I instilled upon the 2024 bar examinees yung principle of ethics. And when they took their oath, dinigdig ko sa kanila the mandates of ethics, lalo na ngayon, hindi lang pera pinag-uusapan. Dapat we have an ethical standard. And I made ethics as an acronym for all the character of a person, yung ethics. This acronym refer to education, T, technology, hindi na natin mawawala. Ang edukasyon po ay sa abogado, panghabang buhay. T, technology, kailangan na po natin. H, humility. Huwag po tayong magyabang dahil abogado tayo. We should be humble that we are lawyer. And then I is integrity. And then C is for compassionate. Tao po tayo. Be compassionate. And lastly, in-specify ko yung last letter S, service. Of course, we lawyers know that lawyering is not a business but a profession. Kaya ako stressful ang aking pag-define at pag-discuss ng letter S sa ating ethics, service. Alam yan po ng ating congresswoman kung ano ang ibig po sabihin ng service sa tao. At ang pagserbisyo, we should not expect a compensation for that. Salamat, Professor.
Thank you, Justice.
Thank you po. Thank you. Our last interviewer is the Honorable Justice Jose Catral Mendoza.